and just wanted to share with you another exercise based on sweep arpeggios and sweep picking. Now first, I will admit I am no expert at sweep picking or sweep arpeggios, and actually, as much as I hate to admit this, it's probably my weakest point as a guitar player, which is not cool. So that's why I'm practicing more to get better at them. This is one of those techniques that came really difficult for me to learn. In the beginning, you know, I would play a lot of fast stuff. I grew up playing older Metallica and Megadeth and stuff like that, which was a lot of alternate picking, real fast stuff. Stuff like that. That came pretty easy to me, but when we're talking about sweep picking, man, it's an entirely different right-hand technique. So anyway, this little exercise, there's 4 parts to it. I'm going to play the whole thing for you, and then I'll break it down. It's fairly simple, fairly melodic. Here we go. Forget that last piece there. I just always throw in something at the end just to make it sound a little bit cooler. Anyway, so let's start with the first part of that. I'm not hitting the first string, the E string at all. I'm starting on the A string, and we're using all 5 strings all the way down here. So I'm starting on the A string, 12th fret, and I use my pinky for that one. It's Pinky in the brain, brain, brain. That was a cool cartoon. Anyway, that wasn't really part of the lesson. I'm starting on the 12th fret with my pinky here on the A string. I won't call out the strings, I'll just call out the frets. We're just going down each string here. So basically it's 15. I'm sorry, 12. I'm learning how to count today. 12th fret, A string, 10, 9, 10, and 12. And then you just go back up. Now, before you play the whole pattern, you can just play that one part and practice that. That's what I normally do. I'll practice just one part of the pattern for a while, and then I'll go through the entire pattern. But that's the first part. Now, I don't hit those last 2 or 3 notes before I go to the next part of the pattern, as you'll see. I'll skip those last 2 notes to kind of slide up and do the second part of the pattern. But that's the first part. Now the second part starts on the 13th fret. So it's going to be 13, 12, 10, 11, 13. That's the first 2 pieces of that. Now the second 2 pieces of this pattern are really just the same thing we just did. They're just in different areas of the fretboard. So remember the first pattern here started on the 12th fret. We're going to play that exact same pattern, but we're going to start on the same string and start on the 17th fret instead. So instead of this, it will be this. Now to me, I find the patterns in the smaller frets, higher up on the neck, I find those are a little bit easier to play because one, I don't have to use my pinky as much, and I think the pinky is kind of a weak point for most guitar players. And the frets are closer together, so to me that just comes easier. But that's the third part of that. And the final piece, the 4th piece of the pattern I was playing, is the same as the second piece. We're just playing it again in a different area. And that one starts on the 15th fret. So again, here's the whole pattern. And you can practice the whole pattern, get that down, but like I said in the beginning, first just pick out one of those parts, you know, and go over it really, really slow. And you'll eventually pick up the speed. And the most important part is just really making sure you're accurate on hitting your notes. A few other pointers is the right hand technique for sweep picking and playing sweep arpeggios is entirely different. Like I said before in the beginning, I just played all, you know, alternate picking, you know, fast up. And a little bit of tapping. And not that that's easy, that was really hard for me to learn. I've been playing for over 20 years now. But I didn't pick up sweep picking until, I don't know how many years it was after I started playing guitar. It was a few years. I always heard it, I heard about it, but I just never picked it up for whatever reason, so I was kind of a late bloomer, like most things in life, late bloomer. But I finally picked it up, and like I said, it's probably one of my weaker points, but the past several years I've been making a point to really go through those exercises every single day. So the other tip I wanted to share with you in regards to sweep arpeggios, and probably just practicing in general, is practice this with a metronome. Again, you want to start out slow, like start out at like, I don't know, 90 BPMs or 100 BPMs and just play it real slow. And then work your way up to 120 and 150, 180 and so forth. And, you know, actually, but better than a metronome, practice with a drum machine. If you have drum loops in your, if you have a studio software and have drum loops in that, something like that, or a drum machine, practice with that, and it's a little bit more motivating than the tick, tick, tick metronome. So, anyway, that's it, and thanks for watching, and we'll post some more videos soon. Bye-bye now.